And yeah, as Ricky mentioned, I really enjoyed the disruption conversation because being the now wearing a CEO of Froliq hat and raising money and pitching to investors and going through that whole song and dance, like I could very much relate to that, and it's definitely island feeling as well. But so today I'm just going to spend some time really not on virtual reality, but really what I like to make the case for is making workforce development one of their centerpieces of any smart city and resilient strategy. So why? The world needs about 10 million net new clean energy workers by 2030 if we're even going to be close to meeting climate change, net zero, energy transition goals. And that doesn't include displaced workers that are moving from fossil fuel, carbon-intense industries into clean energy jobs. But more importantly, the why behind Froliq and why we do what we do is because these jobs are life-changing jobs. They change communities, they change families, they change trajectories, which directly relates to, tied to resilience is how you can adapt, right? And if you think back to, I think back my dad, right, who worked and grew up in manufacturing, and how many times he was laid off, and how many times he got a new job, and how many times he had to go train. And he only had a high school education. So if my dad, who had a high school degree, he graduated at 22 because he was a migrant worker, this is high school. If he can do that and be that adaptable, then given all the tools and knowledge and expertise that we collectively have as an industry, especially being in Texas, like we can meet these worker shortages, we can meet our goals, and we can change lives, and we can make communities more resilient. This just came out yesterday. As ambitious, with funding in hand, with governments ready, roadmaps in place, we are also facing a shortage of workers to build this high-speed infrastructure that we've been talking about all day. So it becomes like the elephant in the room in some cases. It becomes the primary reason for maybe not having our power on during the next storm could be because there's not enough workers out there. Because this is a dangerous job. It does provide life-changing economic opportunities. But, and another fact to consider, we are not back to pre-pandemic levels of employment. And yet we're facing shortages in critical industries that are paying well. So three words come to mind as we think through it and what our vision for Froliq is using virtual reality to advance clean energy workforce development. It's awareness, it's access, and adaptability. When you bring those three things to young people in particular, then you set them up for success. You build the wraparound services, you can give them great technology, but if you look at studies of Gen Z, right, you can, one of them just found that they're holding down a full-time job and 2 or 3 side gigs. So you think about an adaptable future, we have a resource at our hands that often in conversations comes up as like, they're the punching bag of conversations when we get together like this. But actually, they could be the pillar that really takes us to the next stage. And these are just two articles I just pulled. There's articles and studies that's consistently come out about a global workforce shortage. And with that conversation, we also have to rethink how we approach education and who has access to education, who has access to these programs and these modules. Because I know someone who's definitely thinking about it. I'm not sure if you've heard of Ad Astra. That's Elon Musk's school that he built specifically for his kids. They're playing with flamethrowers, they're learning AI, they're starting with 5. And from his perspective, the schools, private, public, you name it, are not preparing his kids for the future. So if Elon, in the extreme case, is doing this. There's another example. I'm not sure if you ever heard of a Donda Academy, Kanye West School. It didn't work, but it's the same mindset that if we have resources and we have technology and we keep giving it to those who are already benefiting from this, your extremes begin to grow. So we're very passionate about just giving someone a chance is what Froliq's about. And if we do give them that chance, what does that mean? Well, globally, between upskilling and training, we will add $6.5 trillion to the global economy if we just improve access and upskilling to workers, to get them to the next stage, to get them into apprenticeships, to get them into some type of career path academy. But there's several challenges I think all of you face every day and know them. So what are we doing? So we're working in Austin, San Antonio, Baltimore, Sacramento, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. to work with cities and schools and utilities to help them learn about careers in STEM through virtual reality. To them, it's fun, and that's the point, because we need a spark to get them to be interested in wanting to be a solar installer, to wanting to be a wind turbine engineer. And that's the core. Here's a good example from Austin where we partnered with Austin Energy. So we had a Ford Lightning, Austin Energy's engineers were there, and through these stations, they had our virtual reality platform in there so students could also see how electrification works, what it's like to be a day in alignment. We're also doing this in San Antonio with the city of San Antonio, and I know there's a few folks from Itron in here who's also a partner. And this is at this is the University Community College, families and students. So we set up our station, and there they got to talk to solar installers, they got to see a line truck, and through that they got to experience our virtual reality platform. But the core reason we're doing this, and the core of my call to action for you guys, is we want to create new solutions from a blank slate, because we're going to need that type of thinking if we are going to meet those goals. We know the challenges. We know the opportunities that come if we address these challenges. So virtual reality is just a tool. But what I wanted you guys here to know is just where that comes from and why the purpose-driven, I guess, ethos of Froliq, which is virtual reality for workforce development, is looking for partners here in Houston to collaborate and to, most importantly, help people build better lives. And with that, I did it under 6 minutes or something here, so that's good. I will give you back the time, but I really appreciate all of you coming out and getting a chance to learn more about Froliq. We are raising a seed fund too, so if you have any intros to angel investors, definitely hit me up. Thank you.